Anger is a universal human emotion, powerful, consuming, and familiar to us all. It can quickly take control, steering our actions and decisions, often with lasting consequences. Unchecked anger strains relationships, harms our health, and overshadows our well-being. Understanding anger is the first step to regaining control and finding peace. Anger is your body's alarm system, triggered by threats, injustice, or frustration. It floods you with adrenaline, preparing you for fight or flight, a survival mechanism from our evolutionary past. While once essential for survival, this intense response now often activates in situations that don't require it. Mastering anger isn't about denial. It's about management. Our approach: acknowledge, analyze, and act. Recognize anger, understand its message, and choose a constructive response. These pillars help you spot anger early and respond with intention, not impulse. Anger is a complex mind-body reaction to perceived threats. It triggers a surge of stress hormones, tensing muscles, quickening breath, and sharpening focus, preparing you for action. This process is automatic, often happening before you're even aware of it. For our ancestors, anger was a survival tool fueling quick, decisive action in dangerous situations. It also enforced social norms, signaling when boundaries were crossed and helping maintain group cohesion. In its original context, anger was both protective and regulatory. Today, our anger system reacts to modern stressors, deadlines, criticism, or daily frustrations, as if they're life or death threats. This mismatch keeps our bodies in a state of chronic stress, harming our health. Persistent activation of this system is linked to high blood pressure, weakened immunity, and other health issues. Anger isn't inherently bad, its impact depends on how we use it. Constructive anger motivates change and problem-solving, expressed assertively and respectfully. Destructive anger, on the other hand, damages relationships and escalates conflict. Chronic anger keeps your body's stress response switched on, straining your heart and blood vessels. This can lead to hypertension, hardened arteries, and increased risk of heart attack or stroke. Even a single angry outburst can have serious consequences for your health. Uncontrolled anger erodes trust and safety in relationships, leaving loved ones anxious and distant. Each outburst chips away at intimacy, making honest communication difficult. Over time, emotional distance grows, and relationships suffer. Anger at work can damage your reputation, limit opportunities, and stall your career. Colleagues may avoid you, and supervisors may see you as unprofessional or unreliable. Emotional outbursts can cost you promotions, raises, and long-term financial stability. Living in anger is mentally exhausting, draining your energy for joy and peace. It fosters negativity, isolation, and increases the risk of depression and anxiety. Breaking the cycle of anger is essential for reclaiming happiness and emotional health. The journey to mastering your anger begins with a single, crucial step: acknowledgement. It's about recognizing and accepting that you're feeling angry. This first pillar is the bedrock upon which all other strategies are built. It's absolutely essential. It is the simple yet profound act of recognizing anger as it begins to surface within you. Acknowledging its presence is the first step toward managing it effectively. Many of us are conditioned to either ignore, suppress, or immediately act on our anger without a moment of reflection. The pillar of acknowledgement asks you to do something different, something more constructive. It asks you to become a mindful observer of your own internal state. This means tuning into the subtle cues your body and mind send you when your emotional temperature starts to rise. It is about catching the first spark before it has a chance to erupt into an uncontrollable wildfire. Developing this self-awareness requires practice. It involves learning to identify your personal early warning signs of anger. For some, it might be a physical sensation, like a sudden knot forming in the pit of their stomach, a wave of heat flushing across their face and neck, or their shoulders tensing up towards their ears. For others, the initial signs might be more cognitive. They might be related to your thoughts and mental state. You might notice your thoughts starting to race, a tendency to jump to negative conclusions, or the replaying of an upsetting event over and over in your mind. By paying close attention, you can create a personal inventory of these signals. This familiarity is your greatest asset in gaining control. It empowers you to take proactive steps. Once you have successfully acknowledged the presence of rising anger, the next critical step is to analyze it. This second pillar requires you to become something of a detective, investigating the scene of your own emotional reaction. The initial flash of anger is often a surface-level response, a loud and distracting symptom of a deeper underlying issue. To truly manage your anger, you must look beneath this fiery exterior and ask yourself a powerful question. What is this anger really about? This moment of analysis is your opportunity to move beyond the immediate trigger and uncover the true source of your distress, which is rarely as simple as it first appears. Anger is frequently described by psychologists as a secondary emotion. This means it often serves as a protective shield for more vulnerable primary emotions that we may find difficult to face. These can include feelings of hurt, fear, shame, guilt, or profound disappointment. For example, you might lash out in anger when your partner criticizes your driving. The surface trigger is the criticism, but the root cause might be a deeper feeling of being disrespected or a fear of being seen as incompetent. The anger feels more powerful and less vulnerable than admitting, "Your words hurt my feelings," so it becomes the default, protective response that masks the underlying pain. After acknowledging the feeling and analyzing its source, you arrive at the third and most empowering pillar to act. This is the stage where you translate your newfound awareness into conscious, deliberate action. It represents the pivotal moment where you choose your response rather than letting an automatic reaction choose for you. Acting with intention means moving away from the destructive, reflexive behaviors of yelling, blaming, or shutting down, and instead choosing a constructive path forward. This pillar is all about utilizing the energy of your anger in a way that solves problems, communicates effectively, and preserves your well-being and your relationships. It is where you take back control. The ACT pillar does not always mean immediate confrontation or discussion. In many cases, the most constructive initial action is to intentionally cool down. This might involve choosing to implement a specific calming technique. You could decide to practice the 4-7-8 breathing method to soothe your nervous system. You could make the conscious choice to physically remove yourself from the triggering situation, going for a short walk to create both mental and physical space. The action here is the deliberate choice to regulate your physiological state before you engage with the problem or the other person. This is an act of self-control and wisdom, ensuring you approach the situation with a clear mind. Once you have acknowledged the very first signs of anger bubbling up, the single most powerful and effective technique you can deploy, a true cornerstone of emotional regulation, is to simply pause. This deliberate moment of inaction, this conscious choice to halt, is a profound act of self-control. It creates a crucial buffer, a small pocket of time and space, a precious window of opportunity, between the external trigger and your immediate internal reaction. In the heat of the moment, when emotions run high, our primitive emotional brain, specifically the amygdala, takes over, screaming for an immediate, instinctive fight-or-flight response. The pause is your golden opportunity to interrupt this automatic process. It gives the more rational, thoughtful part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, a fighting chance to catch up, fully engage with the situation at hand, and offer a more reasoned, balanced perspective on what is actually happening. This pause does not need to be long or drawn out. Even just a few seconds, a fleeting moment, can be enough to effectively break the building momentum of a rising rage. Think of it as pressing the pause button on a movie or video. The action freezes instantly, giving you a precious moment to see the scene clearly, with newfound clarity, before it continues to unfold and potentially escalate. During this brief interval, you are not suppressing your anger or denying its very existence. You are simply choosing not to immediately act on its initial powerful impulse. This simple delay can prevent you from impulsively saying something you will later deeply regret, from sending an angry, ill-considered email that could severely damage your career, or from escalating what began as a minor disagreement into a major, relationship-damaging conflict. It is a moment of strategic retreat, allowing you to gather your thoughts and regain composure. Once you have created a space with the pause, one of the fastest and most effective ways to calm your agitated nervous system is by focusing on your breath. When you are angry, your breathing naturally becomes rapid and shallow, a key part of the fight-or-flight response. This type of breathing signals danger to your brain, keeping you in a state of high alert. By consciously changing the rhythm of your breath, you can send a powerful message back to your brain that the threat has passed, and it is safe to relax. This is not just a psychological